What's up, guys? Prince Sports here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. All right, this basically is the last day, for me and for some of you already got the playoff picture already intact. So why not go over some of this breakdown of some of the teams, okay? Let's start off with the Eastern Conference. You got the number one seed, the Milwaukee Bucks, going up against the Orlando Magic. Okay, this is an easy pick for me. I got the Milwaukee Bucks in a 4-game sweep. This won't even be a gentleman's sweep. This is just a flat-out sweep, okay? Now, the second matchup will be Toronto Raptors versus Brooklyn Nets. Okay, I give the Brooklyn Nets one game because they scrappy. Just imagine how good this team would be when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving come back, because they're already a good team, and they always give a lot of teams a run for their money. So I'm going to give them respect and say they get one game. So it'll be 4-1. Toronto beats them. Toronto just has too much firepower for the Brooklyn Nets without KD and Kyrie Irving. They got no superstar to take them over the top. And the Toronto Raptors got multiple All-Stars, basically, or at least guys that could be All-Star caliber. But you got Siakam, Kyle Lowry. Those are 2 All-Stars anyway. Then you got Fred VanVleet, which is a borderline All-Star. So that's too much firepower for the Brooklyn Nets. Then there's the next matchup. It's the Boston Celtics versus the 76ers. 76ers have no Ben Simmons. He's out, So this makes it even more worse for the 76ers, man. Embiid gonna have to play like a monster just to keep them in the series. If the Boston Celtics get caught slipping for one game because they don't take this team serious, I think the 76ers will pull off one game. But this is also another 4-1, or either a sweep for the Boston Celtics. If the Boston Celtics come with their mind on their money, they're gonna sweep this team. No Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid out there by himself. He's going to have to be the man or the best player on the floor, and I don't see that happening. They get swept. So then this is the only intriguing matchup in the Eastern Conference, basically. It's Miami Heat versus the Indiana Pacers, okay? You got Jimmy Butler and the T.J. Warren beef, all right? This is what they've been asking for. They get to play the best out of 7. But Miami owns this team, so I see that this could be a potential sweep. I'm going to give the Indiana Pacers one game because T.J. Warren may try to get a W. But even that, I don't see this team beating the Miami Heat at all unless injuries take place. So if everything's intact, Miami beats this team 4-0. And if you want to be nice, you give the Indiana Pacers one game. All right. So the Eastern Conference is pretty predictable for me. If you ask me, I think that shit is mad predictable. But let's go to the Western Conference, a little more competitive. Number 1 seed, Los Angeles Lakers going up against Portland Trail Blazers. I know Portland's not completely in there, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say Portland get in there. I'm giving Portland the nod to get in there. So this is going to be a good series. I still think the Lakers beat this team. I know the Lakers have problems guarding point guards or perimeter players, but Rajon Rondo's coming back. Lakers beat this team 4-2. I think Portland makes it interesting a little bit, but they're going to lose this series. I mean, they ain't going to beat the Lakers. All right. There's no way, no how they beat the Lakers unless an injury take place, okay? Lakers are going to get all the benefit of the doubt. Even they're going to get the superstar calls, They're going to get everything. Lakers going to beat the Blazers, man. I know a lot of you guys like to make a little intriguing comments or try to say stuff for shock value, but the Blazers ain't beating the Lakers, all right? Now, number 2 is the Dallas Mavericks versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, this is a good matchup, but even with this matchup, Dallas Mavericks have nothing on the Los Angeles Clippers. They can't do nothing against Kawhi or Paul George. They get into playoff mode, this team is going to get swept. Okay? Dallas Mavericks get swept. It's 4 games to 0. Clippers does too much firepower for the Mavericks. But it's going to be fun to watch, unlike some of these Eastern Conference games. Now, Denver Nuggets versus Utah Jazz. I got Denver Nuggets. I got Denver Nuggets winning 4 games to 1 in this. Man, now that I break it down, I don't see no 7 games. Teams going 7 games in this. So, Denver Nuggets, I just think, is a flat-out better team than Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz is pretty much a punching bag for the Western Conference. So whoever gets the Utah Jazz, they're going to beat them anyway. So I give them 4 games to 1. I'd be nice to the Utah Jazz and say Denver Nuggets get caught slipping and they give 1 game away. And last but not least, OKC versus Houston Rockets, which would have been the most intriguing matchup. But no Westbrook, even for a couple of games, because this is a best of 7. If Westbrook misses 3 games, this is a wrap. You know, Houston Rockets could potentially get swept with James Harden scoring 40 or more points and still won't be enough. You want a better example of this? Damian Lillard scored 42 points today and only won by a point and got saved by a lot of his teammates making plays down the stretch. And he was on the verge of losing the game against the Brooklyn Nets. You know, he came up big with a good steal and everything, but keep in mind, he needed Carmelo Anthony to hit that big 3. C.J. McCullough hit that big shot, you know, the ISO shot, mid-range shot. So, it's a team game. Regardless of how much points you score, especially in the playoffs, man. You just let James Harden go off, he scored 40-something points. They don't care about the rest of them teammates, man. OKC has their team fully intact. They got size, they got depth, they got role players, they got Gallinari, they got 2 basically all-stars in Shea and Chris Paul. And Chris Paul knows how to play perfect playoff basketball. Put some respect on that man's name. That's a point guard. Okay? You guys always say if it wasn't for Chris Paul in Game 7, the Rockets would have beat the Warriors, right? Well, guess what? The Rockets don't get Westbrook. Okay? So there's no way, shape, or form that they're going to get past the OKC Thunder with just James Harden. You stiffen on something if you think that. So, depending on how many games Westbrook missed, if he missed 1 game, they're still in the series. It could go 7 games. If he misses several games, 3 to 4 games, you might as well just say he's out the whole first round. And he's just going home. Might as well just pack your bags and go home at that point. Don't even show up. Press Sports out. Those are my picks for the first round of the playoffs. All right? So, to clear that up, if Westbrook misses 1 game, they could perhaps go 7 games against the OKC. If Westbrook misses several games, the Rockets may get 1 game. So I say 4 to 1 game. Press Sports out. Peace.